Good morning.
Hello, Ron. How you doing?
We are live on the air, but I haven't started anything yet.
Oh, well.
So my computer just locked up.
Oh.
Welcome, race fans. This is Ron in the Big Wizard TV booth, welcoming you to Last Man Standing Motorsports road racing action tonight. This is Tuesday night's Grandpa's Kitchen road racing series. And as always, Last Man Standing Motorsports, sponsored by Stair Fittings Incorporated. Big shout out to our sponsors, Grandpa's Kitchen and Stair Fittings Inc. Made our league possible and makes these broadcasts possible. So thanks a lot to them for putting this all out here for us. We appreciate all that they do for us. We have multi-class racing action tonight. We have the IndyCars, as you see Philip Scott's IndyCar on the screen right now. And we also have the GTE cars. GTE cars are out there as the second class of this multi-class race event. This is race number 2. We're at Daytona. Last week, we saw Brandon Dooley and Philip Scott battle nose to tail for the entire race last week at the Nürburgring Grand Prix track. Brandon managed to hold him off with a 0.4 of a second lead at the finish line. So very, very exciting race last week. GTE was also exciting. Tim Allman is currently on the top. Morgan Teggy is out there on track with him about a second back. Let's go around the horn here and see who's around, see who's on track with us. And we will do a little commentary as we go around. Really want to thank the fans. Thank you guys for being here. Just to give you a heads up where we're at, this is race 2 at Daytona. We're at the LMS multi-class Tuesday night road racing series with GTE and IndyCars, sponsored by Grandpa'sKitchen.com, and Last Man Standing, sponsored by Stair Fittings Incorporated. So, a little opener there. We have a couple new people racing with us. This here, let's go see if I can get a better name shot here. This is a new guy, James Lovejoy, in the U.S. Air Force painted, looks like a flying tiger there, or shark. Air Force painted Corvette C8R. James has been with Last Man Standing for a few weeks. Oops, looks like he had a little incident there on turn 3. And off into the grass. He has reset back to the pit lane. But James has been recently added to our driver lineup here at Last Man Standing Motorsports. Glad to have him out there. Ooh. Tyler not on track? I believe Tyler is not on track. Yep. Okay. So we'll run over here to Sean Williams. Sean Williams has been around for most of last season. Been through the summer with us, racing with us. Really fun driver. Great to have him in the series with us. Sean drives the Ferrari 488 GTE. His car is sponsored by Autism Speaks. He has this Ferrari paint job in both the GTE and GT3 class, running with this sponsor. We'll have to get a backstory on that from him one day and see where the Autism Speaks background comes from. Might be him, might be kids, might be family members, not sure. But very glad to have Sean with us out here on the track. Let's see who else we have. This is Morgan Tiggy. Morgan is one of those GT drivers that has come into our league recently that is extremely fast. Morgan here running, let me get a better angle here, in his BMW. This is the M8 BMW in the GTE class. Morgan did really well last season in the GT3 that just ended not too long ago. But he wasn't able to race all the races, so he would have been at the top if he would have raced more of the races. He came through about halfway through the season. Very quick, very fast, very clean driver. Got the big old YouTube sponsor there on the back, helping us out here with our YouTube stream at Big Wizard TV. Really good to see him out there on track with us. Let's see who else we got. Hey, look, it's Brandon Dooley. You can tell Brandon's car from a mile away. Green tires, black car, every time, everywhere, every car. Brandon's running in the IndyCar class, the first one we've seen so far in that class. We have about 4 active drivers and a couple other drivers in the IndyCar class. I'm listed as out there, but I am not on track and won't be tonight. I'm remote. And so running the broadcast from the remote booth tonight from Kentucky. So won't be able to be out there, but I'll be here with you in the booth calling the race the whole time. So we can watch Brandon, who currently has the quickest time in the IndyCar class. He's running with a 131.7. Couple tenths ahead of Philip Scott and Chris Springer, who have stepped away from the track. This is a long practice session. These guys have been out here for a little while. So don't blame them if they're not on track constantly. It looks like Brandon came in for a fresh set of tires. Maybe he did or did not add some fuel. Now, the Indy cars tonight have full load of fuel on board. We've been restricting fuel, but the Indy cars run out of fuel no matter what you do. So they will have to make a pit stop for fuel during the 45 or 50-minute race. Can't remember exactly what that is. Might be a 50-minute race. Oh, 60. It's a 60-minute race. That's right. They're going to have to get fuel anyway. Now, the GTE cars have 50% fuel. So their fuel load will get them a one stop if they conserve fuel. If they run it all the way out, they're going to run out of fuel and probably have to fill up a second time. Who do we have as a visitor here tonight in our booth? Who's here with us?
I have no clue. It must be that Mr. Mooney guy.
Mooney, what's going on?
Well, I figured I'd venture up here and help spend time with my teammate who can't race with us tonight.
Oh, wow. Thanks. I appreciate that.
And help out with explaining anything that needs to be explained on the race tonight. Because I seem to do that better than driving it.
Well, I didn't plan this one. I usually plan to be out of town when we go to Daytona. I was just going through the field, just focusing on Brandon here for a minute. He's our quick driver in the IndyCar spot. But speaking of the track, let's go talk about the track. Let me pull up some stats, pull up some facts here, and we'll. But my session, my remote session keeps locking up. Probably because I'm on this really awesome hotel Wi-Fi internet. Let's see,
they all can't be the Hilton. They all can't be that.
It is the Hilton, actually.
Okay, it can't be the Hilton in
the
bigger
one we
cities?
stayed at in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, it may not have had great streaming either. Didn't try it. Oh, we did watch TV down there. Anyway, Daytona, historic, world of speed, place Daytona 500, headquarters, the home of the France family.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut off there.
1959 opened up from the France family, actually, opened this track where they were racing prior to 1959 on the beach.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't find anywhere else to race, so they made a track out on the beach and raced on it. So
It
they
was
opened it up.
half on the beach and half on the main stretch of road right out front of the beach. So you ran half the way down on the asphalt, then you dove into the sand and came back on the sand, and then your last corner was getting back onto the asphalt.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, this is prior to 1959. The only paved racetrack in America longer than a mile was Indianapolis, which we know is also a 2.5 mile track, which is the same as this. Did you know who won the winner of the very first Daytona 500 in 1959?
I think his name was Petty.
You are correct. Lee Petty.
Lee
in
Petty,
a
grandfather.
three-way photo finish.
Yes, and it was determined later. It took him most of the evening to finally find a photo that determined who was the actual winner.
That's pretty cool. After 500 miles of driving in Daytona, they end up having to do that.
Yeah, and one of the closest races finishes was the first one, and it stood for many, many, many years.
It's really cool. So that's where we are. We're at the famous Daytona Motor Speedway, otherwise known as the World of Speed.
And we are
3.5 miles. 3.5 mile on the road circuit. This is the classic road circuit. This is not the new road circuit.
But it's still the home of the 24 Hours at Daytona.
It is. It is indeed. This is the course that's currently used, and I believe will continue to be used as the 24 Hours of Daytona race, which comes around every time right around January, end of January. So I'll have another one here in just a couple of months. So 3.5 miles around. The Daytona Rolex 24 is actually the kickoff race of the IMSA season. IMSA has just finished their race season at Petit Le Mans, which is normally not at the end of their season in November, but it was this year. It's usually a little earlier in the year. The COVID fun has messed up everybody's schedules.
Yes.
So
I'm just looking here. We have four
you're active.
Four IndyCars that are turning laps. We have two, one being you, that's not set a lap and a little difficult from the room that you're at. Yeah. And our favorite Judge Dredd hasn't turned a lap yet.
I don't think he'll make much. He might. I think he's going to pull out and do a lap in during the race to get his lap in.
Yes. He is doing the
interesting note.
Number of lap race.
Interesting to note at Daytona, the winningest driver at Daytona won more races than anyone else on this track. Only won the Daytona 500 one time.
Mario Andretti?
Dale Earnhardt.
Okay. Because he won
the he won the Firecracker 400 multiple times. He normally won every year in his Twin 125 shootout that they did on Thursdays before the Daytona 500, which is the qualifying event.
And he won several IROC races here.
He did that as well. But never won the Daytona 500 until 2 or 3 years before his demise in 2001, which happened at this actual racetrack.
And
2001.
Although it was a very sad moment, his team finished 1-2. They were all part of EEI.
Yep. Interesting information about the racetrack. So that's Daytona. We were going through the field before you jumped in the booth, and let me go back to my number blocks and see if anybody else has joined. We do have a new driver that's joined us since that time. Can you tell from your screen if the 05 is on track? I don't see him out there.
Tyler has set a practice time.
Right, but is he currently on the circuit?
Yes,
Don't
he is.
he is? Okay. All right.
It's on
Because we
the
couldn't talk about
backstretch.
him earlier because he wasn't on track. So we'll jump
Yes.
back and say hi to Tyler Greger here. This is Tyler in the '05 Corvette. He is one of our. He's probably been around for a couple seasons now. At least the previous season for GT3. At least he was there for the full season of that. So he's been
Yes.
around a little bit.
He
Man, my
is definitely a quick
internet.
guy too. He gets in a rhythm and he can be very quick and tough to beat.
Yep. Great driver. Let's see who else we have. I've already gone through those guys. The number 38, Brett Elder, newcomer to Last Man Standing Motorsports. Been in about probably 5 or 6 weeks with us. Running the IndyCar. Very impressive driver. He's from, I believe, Australia. I think it
New
is.
Zealand. New Zealand.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. He's out there in the IndyCar class tonight, taking my spot, and he just ran a lap quicker than Chris Springer. Now, everybody on the stream probably doesn't know, but to run a lap quicker than Chris Springer in any car is an establishment. That's
Chris is pretty even and
itself.
quick. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris is very, very quick, so that's cool. I'm glad Brett's
He,
doing good out there.
if Chris Springer is on the track, he's normally doing a fast lap. It doesn't matter what car. I think you can put him in a push cart and he would do well in it.
As long as everybody else was in a push cart, he'd be up in front.
Yeah.
All right, back over to GTE. We got Joe Fierro. Now, Joe finished fourth in the series at the end of last season, I think it was. Joe is really consistent, very quick driver. He's had a couple ups and downs, misses a couple races because of his schedule, but usually really quick. He is fourth fastest right now in the practice session in the GTE cars. And then we have number 55, old timer. This
Paul
is
Allen.
number 55. That's Paul Allen. He's in another Corvette tonight. Looks like he's updated his paint job by the looks of the screen.
I haven't
He's
looked
not
at
running
that.
that silver and black one anymore.
No.
He's currently in the pits. I don't think he's out doing laps. 56. That one is Chris Springer. Now, Chris is. Now, I say that it's impressive that Brett got by Chris, but Chris is only 0.7 seconds, 7/10 of a second off Brandon's time. So it's not like he's slow.
No. Actually, that makes the top five squished together like a freaking banana inside its own skin. It's tight.
Very, very tight up front there. So good. It should be a really good race in the IndyCar class tonight. So
And
Chris
hopefully
has
it's
been around for about a season, I think.
Yes, it's hopefully it'll be a close, tight race and not a oh my gosh they've all wiped each other out type of a race because they're that close. If you're running that close, there'll be.
All right, then we got
give
some
and
old
take.
guys. We got some old guys that are currently not on track. We got Tim Allman, who is actually leading by 2 full seconds in the class, the GTE class. Tim's lap of a 141, really quick. Tim is always quick here. Hopefully he makes it back for the race. And then myself in the 84. I'm in the IndyCar as well, but not going to be able to race tonight. And then yourself in the 88 in the Porsche.
Yeah. Yep. I'm looking at Tim's paint job. He's updated his Stoli and has some very nice stair fitting incorporated on the fenders.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll have
it's a nice paint scheme on that
change
car.
the little camera angle. I can't see it very well from the pit lane. No. Maybe I can get a pit angle camera. Pit lane. No. There he is.
You'll have to wait till he gets out on the track.
I don't have a lot of control.
But he is rocking on the back that Grandpa's Kitchen sponsor.
Nice. Very nice. All right, well, here is number 99, our reigning champion for Tuesday Night Road Racing. Last year in the GTE class, but this year he's running in the IndyCar Series class. So, in our road racing series.
Looks like he's trying to keep control of it.
Yeah, through the bus stop there. 0.2 of a second behind Brandon's time. So really, really fast out there. And let's see who else. That is all we've got on track tonight. 145 is currently not on track. I don't know who that is.
That's
Must be
Julian
his-
Williams
Oh, okay.
or
Julian Williams?
Julian Lockhart. I
Julian
don't know.
Lockwood. Okay. He
Yeah,
runs his Ferrari, doesn't he?
he's running the Ferrari. He was having a lot of connection issues and
Okay.
devices not wanting to communicate very well with each other. So
Hopefully he'll make it for the race. So we've gone through the field. We've gone through the track info. We've welcomed everyone to the stream. We want to say thank you again to Stair Fittings Incorporated, being our host and Last Man Standing Motorsports sponsor. Also, big thanks to Grandpa's Kitchen for being our race sponsor, series sponsor, of our Tuesday Night Road Racing. And hey, while we're at it, thanks to Big Wizard TV for hosting all this stuff and getting all these videos out there.
definitely,
we do have a couple new viewers that have joined the Big Wizard TV family this week. Thanks to Brian and James for joining us. Maybe they're on tonight watching the race. Who knows? But we've got about 4 minutes. Is that what I see on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, about 4 minutes left in the qualifying or practice session. Then we're going to be jumping into qualifying, and then we've got a 60-minute race on our hands. So it looks like it's wrapping up to be a nice race. We've got at least 4 to 5 drivers in each class. We got 4 IndyCar drivers and about 5 GTE drivers tonight. There are 15 drivers in the session, so there might be more coming back on that GTE side. Hopefully, we'll get some more back in their cars before the race, before the green flag flies. Well, let's see what else we got going on. We could, if I posted it, I can go over the standings. Although I don't remember if I posted the standings last week. Oh, I put everybody together. That's right. I lumped everybody together. And the reason I did that, and this is info for our viewers, for the first 4 races, the drivers get to pick what they want to drive. So right now, if you want to drive an Indy car, you can drive an Indy car. If you want to drive a GTE car, you can drive a GTE car. If you want to switch next week, you can switch next week. And everybody's going to get points, and they're all going to pile up together, and everybody's going to have the points they get. Now, once race 5 begins, which we're on currently race number 2 of the season, once race 5 begins, points are fixed to whatever car you start race 5 with. That means if you're in an Indy car in race 5, but you raced IndyCar a couple times and GTE a couple times, all your points will combine and you'll be in the IndyCar for the rest of the season. If you decide at any point you want to race the GTE car, you can, but your points will only accumulate in the GTE class after that point. So you can't switch it around and move it around after that. Everything goes to one class. So still not sure how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to try.
we'll figure it out.
I have to make the big change after week number 4 to make it all fixed. So once I do, we'll know what we're doing. But I think the competition's there. I think there's enough drivers in each class to make it so it should be fun. If the drivers stick around, and the drivers we have are very current, constant drivers, so hopefully they'll make it to the season. We got a few new ones. We'll see how they pan out. Should be a good run. Just about hitting up for qualifying here. We got about a minute to go in the practice session. Looks like Philip's trying to get another lap.
Without playing favorites, we're not playing favorites. Who do you think has the edge in tonight's race in each class?
Last week we saw Brandon and Philip run nose to tail the whole race.
Yes.
Last season,
it was a coin flip at the end too.
Yeah, 0.4 of a second. Brandon edged him out. Last season, it seemed like Philip had the edge over Brandon. And in GT3, it seems like Philip has a slight edge over Brandon. But here on IndyCar, I don't know. I mean, it's a coin toss. Now Chris has moved himself up
I'm
into that third spot again, only 4 tenths back. If Chris gets a clean start, I think Chris is the guy to beat tonight.
in IndyCar. I was going to go the same way. I think it would be Chris, but don't be surprised if you don't have a Brett Elder second place because of a tiny mistake by either Brandon and Phillip. I could see
Well,
that happening.
and if one of them makes a mistake, because they are so close together, usually it'll take out the other one.
Well, I'm just even saying getting onto pit road slowly, accidentally taking or not taking tires. That it does. It's not. It's going to be that small of a mistake. Is all that's going to be necessary.
Right.
I think the same with down in the GTEs also. Tim and Morgan and them, they're that close. So
Tim and Morgan are definitely be the ones to watch. I think I'm not sure where Marco is tonight. He was around last week, but I don't see him tonight. The other thing interesting to note,
I'll let you go
for
by.
the drivers, and I'm sure you got to get back out in your car, but the pit lane used to end right at the NASCAR pit lane end. Now the pit lane goes all the way through to almost where you're exiting onto the speedway after turn number 3. So you have to watch your speed all the way around that corner if you don't have your pit limiter on, which is new. That actually changed about halfway through the year. Maybe it was after the 24 Hours of Daytona last year in February.
yeah, I think that was a safety thing that they installed so that cars weren't
actually,
so that they weren't going so through.
Yeah, the real race did that too. So it's new for not only the real race but also for the sim here. And I guess our viewers should know and understand this is a simulated race. However, iRacing puts things out there so it's accurate as close as possible on real life. If they do something in real life, they usually have it available in the sim. Whoa, there goes Brandon's qualifying lap as he makes Paul Allen's car lift up in the air. Exiting the bus stop.
Well, there was some comments in the lobby over that Brandon's car comes out of the dark with the black paint job,
no headlights,
very mysteriously, very quickly.
Yeah.
So he's running camouflage.
They are racing at night at Daytona, but they do have the track lights on. So some of the cars might be a little tough to see, especially Indy cars with no headlights. Now your GTE cars all have headlights. I think this is the only attempt we're making this year at racing the Indy cars in the dark.
It's the only track that has enough light at night to be seen.
Well, that seems to be a question, apparently.
Well, to be honest, if I thought it was an advantage, I probably would have jumped out there in a very dark blue Indy car myself. But, sneak by a few guys. But if you've got a relative on, which most of the drivers are aware of, they know when someone's coming up on them, or should.
All right, well, let's see. We got, what's our qualifying time? I think it was 15, wasn't it, tonight? No, it was just 10 minutes. We got 6.5 minutes to go. Now, you've got to get a clean lap. This is, for qualifying, 10 minutes at this track. I mean, the lap time is about 1 minute and 45 seconds for GTE cars, 1:40, 1:35 for the Indy cars. You have to get a clean lap, and there's everyone out there all at once. So if you're in an Indy car, you're dodging and weaving around cars, trying to get your best time in. And if you go off track just a little bit and make a little error, you lose your time. You don't get the time for that lap. So you have to stay out there. You have to stay on track, focused, concentrate, and get your time in. Damage to your car, you have to go back and restart. You got to go all the way around once to be able to get your time started. Now, the benefit here is that the drivers get to race the lap as long as they can cross the finish line before the clock runs out. They get to finish that lap as well. So they will get that final lap. So, but for I'm guessing the IndyCar guys are going to have the hardest time getting that lap tonight, as the GT cars don't have anybody slower in front of them to cause a problem as they enter a corner. Chris Springer has seemed to not have a problem at all getting his first lap in at 131.3. The other issue is what you see on the screen right now. As you pass someone, as we're watching Tim here, passing right across the start-finish line, the challenge in that is that you have to get cleanly down into turn 1, which is the second gear corner. So you're coming off that tri-oval full tilt. You're going 180 miles an hour in a GTE car. And you've got to bring that thing down into second gear to make that turn 1. And then accelerating off turn 1, get to 2-3. There's a lot of time gained and lost right in that little section. So, and then here we're watching Tyler following Joe Fierro and getting a great advantage because these cars on this tri-oval with the draft can really pull in tight on the car in front of him. So he probably could have gained a good 0.2 of a second as he enters into the bus stop. Now a lap around Daytona. Let's go somewhere where they don't know we're there. We won't let them know we're in the car, but because Tim can't hear us. Tim's going through the backstretch right now. Tim Allman, last man standing motorsports driver, now for about a full year, a couple of seasons with us, and also fellow old guy racing driver, running the Porsche 911 RSR. As we just saw him go through the bus stop, we're going to be coming around the Daytona NASCAR Cup Speedway turn 4 right now, which is just turn 12 on the final turn 12 on the oval or the road course. Goes across the start finish line, and you'll see him now dive down into turn 1. Like I said, 6th gear all the way down to second, making this corner as best you can. Don't go off the track on the inside. Don't go wide on the outside, through the S's of turns 2 and 3, and then into the International Horseshoe A and B, which is turns 4 and 6 with a little kink in between them. This is turn 4, and he's using all the track. You can see way out wide on the exit. We'll come through this little kink, turn 5, try to hold that flat out. Hard on the brakes into International Horseshoe number 2, which is turn 6, and then into the tricky get back on the racetrack, turn 7. This one's a hard braking and then coasting through this corner, getting on the throttle as soon as you possibly can without spinning out the car, so you can have as much speed as you can get going down that backstretch. Now, right now, he's got Chris Springer kind of following him down this turn 2 section, and he just goes flying by him. Unfortunately, Tim won't get any draft off of that car as Chris goes barreling on down the backstretch. Now they dive into the bus stop area, which is a quick left-right, right-left chicane, a double chicane that they call the bus stop, turns 9, 10, and 11. And then back out onto the super speedway through turns 3, turn 4, and then back down into the tri-oval for the start-finish line. And that, race fans, is a lap around Daytona Motor Speedway. And let's see how he does with his speed. Currently at a 142, now crosses the line. Still in the lead. I don't see a lap time yet.
141.
141.4. Takes a full second lead on second place Morgan Tiggy. Now, don't count Morgan out. A full second in qualifying does not put Morgan in the back. Now, Morgan may not know this track well. He may not race here well, but he will be in this race. Definitely be in this race.
Most definitely.
Morgan's always a contender. And Tim somehow is a magnet for trouble at this racetrack. I don't know how, but Tim just always seems to, clip the unimaginable when he's out here.
Actually, he had an issue on a couple of tracks, to be honest. But it's not his driving. It's just like you said.
No, he just finds it. It's like a magnet. Now, the other interesting note here in our qualifying session is I do not see a lap time or the car on the track for the number 99, our reigning champ, Philip Scott. So I'm not sure if he is out here or not. Currently not on track.
Nope.
And he does have a time, though, so maybe he just took a quick lap and then a break. He's figuring, I'm going to start top 4 anyway. No matter where I'm at, I'll be in one of the top 4 spots and can hang with anybody. So maybe he's just laying back. He's got a 31.7, so he's 0.8 of a second off Chris Springer's time. Chris Springer, as we mentioned earlier, as being the one to watch tonight, did jump up a half a second there ahead of Brandon Dooley. So,
and we've just gotten the checkered flag for this is your last shot at your lap.
This session. So we see number 6 going by. Number six. That would be Sean coming across the stripe with his best time. Sean has P4 at the moment. And looks like the number 3 car, James Lovejoy, late arrival on the circuit. He's going to be able to complete his lap. I don't think the 83 or the 6 is going to have a shot at getting a better lap. Chris Springer may have gotten across the stripe, so that might be the line at the end of this group.
All right. Well, before I run off to jump back in the car again and do my little pre-ritual run to the restroom thing, do you know why the bus stop is considered an actual bus stop type turn?
Let's have it.
Because as a bus driver, you would know this, a bus stop pulls all the way over into a side lane and stops. This mimics that action of pulling all the way over parallel and, as you would for a bus, and then pulling all the way back onto the surface, the racing surface. So it looks like an actual bus stop type move.
Coming from a bus driver, I completely understand and believe you.
The bus stop, quote unquote, at Watkins Glen is very similar, but it doesn't progress lengthwise as an actual bus stop. It does move over parallel and comes back, but it's not as technically the same as the one here. But I digress. All right, I'm going to go jump down and have fun. I would like to, before I leave, thank Grandpa's Kitchen for all that they've done for the series and our racing here, and same with Stair Fittings Incorporated.
That's it for qualifying. Chris Springer's got the front spot with Brandon Dooley right next to him. Row 2, Brett Elder and Philip Scott. On row 3, we'll have Tim Allman, Morgan Tiggy in the GTE class. They are starting to line up now out there on the racetrack. Tyler Greger, he's talking. Unfortunately, I cannot hear him. Sorry, everybody. I can't hear the drivers. So when they do speak up, I'll try to get out of the way so you can hear what they're saying. But Tyler and Joe are on the second row. Michael Mooney and Sean Williams on row 3 of the GTE class. That is actually row 5 of the full group. Paul Allen and James Lovejoy in the back. And hopefully Julian got his internet issues corrected and is out there. We've got 4 drivers active on the IndyCar. Judge Dredd, a.k.a. David, will be out there for a lap, maybe. He should try to get a lap on the books. He'll probably start from the pit lane, though. And then we have 9 active drivers in the GTE class. So we're lining up. They'll have to wait just a minute for those that are not on track. Brandon is currently not lined up on the circuit. Interesting that. There he goes. And let's see if we can catch. There we go. Now you can see the drivers on the backstretch. They're all lined up on the backstretch behind the pace car. They're going to go through the bus stop, go around the NASCAR turn 3 and 4 and catch the green flag before they catch the tri-oval as we start this 60-minute race. So thanks those that are watching. You can throw a comment out there and let me know you're out there and following along. This is Ron with Big Wizard TV. We're up here in the booth as we start rolling along to start this first pace lap. We're only going to do about a half, I don't know, it's probably about a third of a lap, and then we'll be running. The green flag will fly, and off we go. So appreciate everybody tuning in, and hope you guys enjoy our race tonight. Oh, we got a latecomer. David Burgess joined the IndyCar ranks right at the end of qualifying. I don't even think he ran a practice or qualifying lap, but he has made it into the race. And I got a message. And I just got a message from my son who's home, and he is currently racing or competing in his league. He is in a League of Legends tournament. And he is currently in a tournament. Oh, and we're green. Green flag flies. Chris Springer is out in the front. Brandon Dooley right behind him. Brett. No, that's not the right order. This is, yes, Chris Springer, Brandon Dooley, Philip Scott, Brett Elder in the top 4. Something happened to David Burgess. He is he's back a little bit. Judge Dredd is out on track, but he is not going to be a factor in this race tonight. He is just trying to get the car warmed up, do a little testing. David's got a couple issues he's working on with the mechanics in his cars. Chris Springer is still out front. This is super tight. Brandon right behind him. Tim Allman out front by 1 second. The gap in IndyCar is about 0.4 of a second as they go down the backstretch, and Brandon gets the draft going into the bus stop. Tim Allman about 0.4 of a second over Morgan Tiggy. Oh, and a car is around. That is Chris Springer. Chris Springer has spun in the bus stop on lap 1. Cold tire issue. He's got it going again. Hopefully that won't cause too much trouble. He is currently getting passed by the GTE cars. Tough break for Chris. He started off doing really well there. Hopefully he'll be able to get that wrap back in. So a lot of action here on lap 1. Just finishing up the first lap, going back down into turn 1. Brandon Dooley now out front, Philip Scott, which was last week's duo. But look who's right there with him. Brett Elder, about a half a second back behind Philip as they are trudging through the infield section, going through lap 5 and hitting the international horseshoe here. The top 3 right together, 1.4 seconds covers the 3 of them as they are stretching out just a little bit as they jump back up onto the speedway. These Indy cars are extremely fast, and the draft is real on the backstretch. I think Philip, if he's close enough, could pull this in a little bit. The gap is now 0.9 as they go down the backstretch. It closes up pretty good. Second battle on the track is currently dead even. That is, nope, it's not dead even. They are still 1-2. Morgan is actually dropping back. He's a second and a half back now as Tim jumps into the bus stop. But Tim is probably one of the best there is in Last Man Standing Motorsports in the GTE car here at Daytona. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. Tim's got just mad skills here at Daytona. Very, very fast driver. has raced in the 24 Hours of Daytona on iRacing, and happy to be a teammate. I haven't raced with him in one of the endurance races yet, but he loves the Porsche 911 RSR and is quite a driver as he goes into turn one, through the S's 2 and 3, and through the infield section. Typically runs flawless race if he can stay away from the trouble, and the trouble can stay away from him. He'll be definitely one to watch out front tonight. Morgan now 2.2 back, not able to keep up, but running for second spot. We'll see how that holds out for the race. Going back up front again to the leader. Again, you can see the battle from last week continues. Brandon out front with Philip Scott right behind. This looks to be textbook as these guys go round and around together. Now, Chris Springer, you will know, is not out of this. He's definitely not out of this. Chris is extremely fast. He has the ability to make this gap up, currently 12 seconds back. Lost the 3 spots there in the first lap bus stop, but he will be back. I do not doubt that he'll be right back up there with him. 8.7 back now after diving into turn 1, making up a couple seconds there. Yeah, it just depends on the timing. He looks like he made up about a second on that lap. So we'll watch those times, watch that gap, and as they make their pit stop and see how that all rolls out, we'll see. We'll probably watch him climb closer and closer back up to the top with that pair in the front. Currently running in the 4th spot and trying to make up some ground. As you've got Brandon out front.
Well, thanks for the
Philip Scott in second. Brett Elder 4.5 seconds back.
See you later.
As it looks like David is now in the pits. David Burgess. I don't know what he was saying there. I wish I had audio for that. I can't hear the drivers tonight, as you probably can. So he may have mentioned what happened, but it appears that he has dropped from the service, so he's out. All right. 0.4 seconds is still the gap in the front. Brett Elder back about 5 seconds back, and Chris is about 11 back, trying to make up that gap. Doesn't look like he gained much on him this lap, but lap after lap after lap, he will pick up that time. Looks like Tim is still out in front, running now a 7-second lead over second place Morgan. Tim just throwing him down, just really out there flying. He's already lapped James Lovejoy, who has had an issue in his car, and Joe, who's Mr. Consistent. He has taken over the second spot ahead of Morgan Tiggy. So I'm not sure where that came from, but we can go back and see where those guys are at. Pretty close together in the number 48 car. That is Joe Fierro. And there's Morgan right behind him in the BMW. As we watch this little battle unfold, Joe seems to have a little bit of an advantage on this racetrack over Morgan, but now they are nose to tail. Morgan's a quick learner. Don't know if he'll be able to hold Morgan back there for long, but this is the close race, the close competition right now on the racetrack. Looks like Julian is also getting his legs under him. He's in the 5th position in GTE as we see Morgan try to go by around on the super speedway. He may have wanted to wait and stay in that draft until he hit this straightaway, because now losing his momentum, they're side by side going to the bus stop, and this is never a good thing. Oh, that was close. Morgan did edge him out into the bus stop as Joe held back a little bit. We'll see if he gets the draft, goes back by into turn one. The bus stop entry and turn one are definitely the most dangerous spots on this racetrack to pass, and you can see the draft is real. Here comes Joe catching back up as they go down the backstretch, goes out on the outside, takes him on the outside of the tri-oval as they go across the stripe, but then has to make the decision, do I dive or do I wait? And he dives. There he goes down into turn one, leaving space for Morgan as Morgan takes the inside cleanly. Well, that's some super racing there. The gentleman Joe driving out there, letting Morgan have the room. Morgan took advantage of it, took off on turn one. We'll see if Joe can stay with him. Looks like the battle of the race so far tonight with a 1 second gap there. In the GTE class, giving nothing away to our race leader right here, Brandon Dooley, as they go down into turn one with Philip Scott in tow again. Sean taking a quick early pit stop there in the 6 car, coming back out on the racetrack here. Not sure if he had a little incident. The cars do have one fast repair tonight. I don't think he used it. Maybe he did. We'll have to keep an eye on that. He's got Brett Elder behind. He is down a lap down now. It looks like his car's clean. Maybe he did have an incident, need to use that fast repair. They do get one tonight, but that's all they have. So, and Brett Elder coming up behind him in the IndyCar. Should get by him pretty quick after this. Oh, and Brett spins in turn 6. The National Horseshoe gets him. And there goes Chris Springer into third. Guess who's coming? Chris Springer moves up another spot into the third position, and as he flies by the GTE car on the backstretch. So it looks like Chris is going to make a race out of this, and he's going to try everything he can to keep up with those leaders. It's hard to make up the time. He has made up another second. He's got a 10-second gap to Philip Scott, who is still right on the bumper of Brandon Dooley. They're just a 10th apart. Philip may be able to get him coming here into turn one. No. Brandon stays out front. Back up to the top as they catch up with some GTE cars as they're going through the infield section. This is a little tricky. Try to stay off each other and stay off those other drivers going through turn 5 down into International Horseshoe right next to Mooney as the 2 Indy cars go through clean and Mooney gets around the track, gets around turn 6 and stays in front of his battle there with I think that's Julian and Mooney battling there. Little nose to tail action. Julian is one of those surprise drivers. It takes him sometimes a little while to get used to the racetrack, but he is very smooth and really picks up the pace throughout the race. Not sure how much experience he has here at Daytona. Daytona is not a track you can learn quickly. You have to run a lot of laps here to find the quirks and the lines that get you the most speed. Each car, each setup can gain and lose a little bit of time and a little bit of speed around the track. You're talking tenths, right? I mean, you're going to be here. This is a fairly good long race. This is a 34 lap race around here. This is an hour, and every lap being about a minute and 40 seconds, minute and 45 seconds. You can gain or lose a couple tenths of a second each lap. That makes the difference when it comes down to the end. To a 2 to 3 second gap. Mooney's car does appear to have some rear end damage. So he was involved with an incident somewhere. It's still going. It's funny, usually with rear end damage, the rear wing is affected, but it looks like just the rear bumper. But that is where the motor sits. So if he did get into some contact with somebody, I'm guessing possibly Sean Williams, who went into the pits earlier, if he did get into some contact with somebody, that may cause an issue later on with his motor iRacing does believe in engine failure. So, especially when you have damage to that area of the car where the motor sits, and the Porsche is a rear engine car, it could affect a cooling line or something like that, raises engine temperature and engine expire prematurely. So we'll see how that goes, as he and Julian are still just a couple seconds apart. He is pulling away though. 2.2 now is the gap. Brandon's still out front in the overall and in the IndyCar class, but still not gapping Philip Scott at all. These two guys are the excitement of the season so far. I mean, last race they did this, and so far here in the first half of this race, right together, nose to tail, lap after lap, cutting and diving through these GTE cars. It's interesting to think that the IndyCar and the GTE car would be on the track together. Normally in real life, you wouldn't see this at all. This is not a normal combination. But these guys, they make it really fun. They make it really fun to watch. And I drive normally in the IndyCar, and it's a lot of fun to drive. This is definitely, a fun format out on iRacing. You can't do this in real life, but you can do it on iRacing. You can do it on the simulator. So. Brandon's out front now by 0.7 seconds as they go down this backstretch. We'll see if Philip's got a good run on the draft here, 6.6. He pulls it in a little bit as they enter the bus stop, half a second back. And now he's got another long straightaway in this big sweeping corner. High banks of Daytona. This is a 31 degree banking here on the high banks of Daytona. The entire track on those corners from top to bottom is banked at 31 degrees. So that's a lot of banking. As they go through the trial. Well, trial was not banked so much. Sorry, I'm having a little intermittent network issues here. Internet is not optimal tonight. Let's go through the field here and kind of see the drivers and take a look at what's going on. We got Brandon Dooley out front still. Philip Scott within a second, even after we're 11 laps on lap 11. Just started it, and now they are going to go around and pass the GTE leader here as they exit the infield. And they go past Tim Allman on the super speedway turn number 2. Brandon Dooley out front. Brandon Dooley currently the points champion after one race, with Philip Scott right behind him, and Philip Scott is in second in the points. Both of them in the IndyCar class. They've voiced that they want to stay in the IndyCar class and keep that racing nice and tight and racing together. So hopefully that'll be the case. Chris Springer missed our first race in the season. Oh, we got a rare shot at Judge Dredd. Oh, he's in pit lane. Okay. But Chris Springer missed last race, so he ended up with a provisional tonight, trying to make that up. And as we mentioned earlier, and you look at those times, if you look at those times in the relative screen, Chris Springer is now 8 seconds back of Philip Scott. So he's picked up a couple more seconds. It's a long race. He's at less than a third of the way through, and he's already picked up 3 seconds from his earlier error with the spin in the bus stop. So he is coming. He's not there yet, but he is coming. See how that works as he goes around our class leader in GTE. Here's the exit bus stop. Or exit the infield. Sorry about that. He's being very patient. He's around the outside as they enter turn 7 and back out onto the super speedway. Oh, gets a little loose. Hangs onto it and keeps going. All right, let's go check out the next one in the list. Number 4th position, we have Brett Elder in the 30 car. IndyCar. Brett from New Zealand, racing with the group there in P4. I wish I was out there racing with him. I'd probably be fairly close to him. Me and Brett usually race fairly close together on the track. Some tracks he has me, and other tracks I seem to have his number. So, but it'll be fun racing with him in the IndyCar class this season. And currently in the 4th position, cruising along. He is back a little bit from our leaders. Let's find out how far. Can't tell on the relative. He's a little bit too far back from that, but he's 13 seconds back, so still holding his own. If he keeps this pace up, he will stay on the lead lap throughout the race. It's tough to run the speeds and run the high end without making any errors. But Brett's one of those guys that can do it. Judge Dredd in the 69 car is our league owner. Let's see if I can get you a good shot of his car. Let's see. There he is in the pit lane. In the back. Let's see if we can get a view of the car in the pit lane. I do have a couple different cameras we can do, but that would be David Visser or Judge Dredd. The track. Myself and David Burgess are not on track, so let's jump down to our class leader from GTE, Tim Allman. Old Guy Racing team member, racing out there in the Porsche 911. Tim's a good friend. I've met him a couple times, spent some time with him. We even went to the drag races in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago and enjoyed some top fuel, nitro burning funny cars together. So there's nothing like enjoying top fuel, nitro burning anything. Quarter mile or 1,000 feet in just over 3 seconds, 0 to 300 miles an hour. It's a sight to behold. You can watch it on TV all you want, but it's just not the same until you go and see it in person. It's just not the same thing. It's something you just don't expect until you see those top fuel cars go down the track the first time, and just like, wow, just really, really cool. All right, so Tim's out front. Morgan is in the 2nd spot. I wish I knew all these guys' numbers by heart. I wouldn't have to switch back and forth to my different camera views. Morgan in the 07 car. And he is still right there, man. Joe is right there with him. So Morgan in P2 in the GTE class. They're not that far back. They're only about 15 seconds back from Tim. But it is enough that Tim's definitely has a comfortable lead here. I'm not sure if he's still pushing. Probably just turning the laps to get the good times and staying out front. And he is 15 seconds to the good on 2nd and 3rd here, which is a tight battle between Morgan Teggy and Joe Fierro here at Daytona Motor Speedway on this race number 2 of the Last Man Standing Motorsports Road Series, sponsored by grandpaskitchen.com. I'll leave you this battle on the screen. I'm going to step away for just a minute, and I will be right back.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Mooney, how's it going?
Well, I have an admin question for you.
Yeah.
So if someone,
I'm here, I'm racing, or I'm watching. I just took a quick break, but I'm back in the booth. Welcome back, everybody. This is Ron up in the booth. We have our visitor during the race here. This is Mooney in the 88 Porsche with a little dent in the back of it. What do you got?
so if you're spinning slightly out of control and you cross the pit exit line, you
Yes.
get a speeding in the pits penalty.
Whoa. Well, that is interesting. That's iRacing, is what that is. That is not regular racing.
So
I don't think that would happen in real life.
that's why I'm wondering, is that a removable black flag or is it servable?
Well, as we always say in our league,
Yep, don't remove black flags. Got
We
it.
don't-
That's what
we
I
don't
was
carry black
confirming with a
flags.
second admin.
I believe in that case, if we were doing like a oval race or something like that, because you can easily spin on the front stretch, cross into the pit lane in a wreck that's not your fault, end up sliding through pit lane and be going 190 miles an hour. I know we've taken that off in those types of series, but in the road series,
Yeah.
our rule has always been we don't clear black flags.
That's what I thought, but it was one of those. I have a lap to find out and get a second judgment from admin. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I would have to say, due to
Yeah,
the nature
we'll
of
serve it.
yeah,
We'll serve
yeah.
it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yep. Sorry, man. That's
Yeah, now I'm just
sometimes
curious: is this 15-second hold going to turn into a 40-second, as they sometimes, for some reason, do?
well, you think of iRacing and its quirks. Last week, our teammate Tim Allman, was entering the final corner of the race, being passed by Brandon Dooley and Philip Scott just as they crossed the start-finish line for the finish of the race. His car blipped out on the internet. He lost connection, went from first in class to fifth in class, being 2 laps down at that point, because not only did he not cross the finish line, he didn't get counted by getting passed by the leaders. so he ends up 2 laps down in 5th spot. Then I talked to Judge Dredd, and he's like, "Well, that's iRacing. You can't really change it."
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I'm sorry you ended up in that spot.
No, we're serving it, but it's also the other thing. It's iRacing. It says pull in for a 15-second hold, and you stop, and it's then 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So
I don't think there is a 15-second hold in the sim. I think it's always 40.
yeah. Other than that, I had a little bump incident with Tyler when I lost control coming through 6 or 7 coming back onto the track.
Yep.
And I looped it, and I held my brakes so everyone could get through, and then I just turned enough, and then he had lost it or got turned earlier in that lap, and he found the back end of my car. So that's the dent.
Well, interestingly enough, I'm seeing as we're just past halfway, I'm seeing the IndyCars had to go in on lap 16. I also see that Tim went in on lap 16. Now, if the race is going to actually go 39 laps, which will probably go 38 or 37, depending on pit stops, but right now it's scheduled for 39, then not only will the Indy cars need 2 stops, but so will the GTE cars.
Yep, and that's what I had planned. I actually pit early on lap 10 to throw my fuel the other direction. And
now you're in on lap 16. It's not helping you.
Serving a penalty and only doing the penalty. So
still throws it off. As we currently are watching on the stream, the very, very close battle as Philip goes around on the high side, coming around through turn 3 on the super speedway, coming down across. We're going to see they're going to go almost side by side. Philip tucks right back in behind, but they are battling it out in the tri-oval going into turn 1. We'll see who's going to hold down to the brakes a little longer. Looks like Brandon edges him out into turn 1 again, and there is Philip, 0.2 seconds back. battling back through 2 and 3. We'll see if he can get him somewhere here in the infield. As the camera decides to switch, we will put it right back where it was. One of the controls I get to do when I'm announcing the race and not actually in the race, I can control the camera. As Philip is not backing off, he is right there as they exit turn 6, nose to tail. And catching up with Sean, lap driver, as they're turning on to turn 7 back onto the super speedway. Sorry to cut you off there, Mooney.
Oh no, you're announcing. I'm color commentating from the car. I mean,
yeah, we had quite a close one. It looks like it's not over yet. Philip is right on his tail, catching the draft, going down on the inside as they go down into the bus stop. We'll see if he can hold on. And he wiggles and does stick through. Philip Scott takes the lead from Brandon Dooley over halfway through this race. But guess who's not going to let it happen easy? Brandon in the draft, coming around the super speedway, getting the momentum, diving down to the bottom through Speedway 4. And we'll see if he can hang on to that through the tri-oval. We got some action up front. These two Indy cars are not going to give up. Here comes Brandon. Seems to be a late breaker into turn 1. Gains a slight advantage back to a 0.4 second lead as they go through 2 and 3 as Philip seems to back off just ever so slightly. Wow, that was some great racing. You can tell the draft is real here at Daytona.
yeah, they came out of the pits and the 88 was right there, and you know how well he likes to move out of the way for anyone.
Yeah, you do seem to be the roadblock of the racing world.
They were coming out going, yeah, they were literally nose to tail. I mean, I saw it coming through there, and they're like, this should be interesting. I'm like, yeah, and I'm adding to that mix because I'm, out on the racing surface.
Well, one thing to note, I was following Chris Springer. He appears to have had an issue. I don't know if he just stayed in the pits on his pit stop or if he actually had some damage. We could probably jump over there and take a peek at the car, see if there's anything visibly wrong with the car. As he sits in pit lane, it does not look like there's any damage to the car. If he were being towed. Oh, wait, maybe. Let's try a couple camera angles and see if we can catch something here. It doesn't look like he's got anything wrong with the car. Oop, the chase camera decided not to. Okay. I don't see any damage on the car. So, not really sure what happened there. He is currently in the pit lane. He's either serving an extended penalty or he has
Williams had an issue in the bus stop.
Decided not to come back out. Oh, we do have a car in the bus stop. That is Sean. He now trudges out. Ooh, that is terminal. That looks bad for Sean. That front end of his Autism Speaks puzzle piece Ferrari is done. We'll have to see if he can even drive with that. He's probably got what they call a meatball flag, which is a damaged car flag. You have to come into the pit lane and get that repaired. I believe
he's used one, I believe, already when he parked the car on top of the pit wall where the tire barrier is.
Turn 5, lap 5, he was in the pits early, so I'm guessing that was his first fast repair usage.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have that left. There's only one tonight in the race. For those at home, fast repairs are
instant fix.
Yeah, they're a flip a switch, fix your car. And if you don't have it, you are sitting in pit lane for 10 to 15 minutes getting your car repaired. And in a 1 hour race, that is pretty terminal, especially since we're past the halfway mark. Already past the halfway mark on this one. What is really good news is that this battle is not going anywhere. Brandon Dooley's still out front. Just a half a second ahead of Philip Scott as they go back through the infield. We are on lap 24 with these leaders. There's only about 14 laps to go. We are 37 minutes into this 1 hour race, and these guys are still at it. This is not going away. Brandon has jumped Philip has jumped into the lead briefly. He's back to 1 second behind. Brandon is just laying down the laps, not letting anybody catch him. Really, really putting on a show for us tonight. This is pretty exciting. We're going to run down too and take a peek at our class leader in GTE running the flawless laps. Tim Allman, hopefully going to keep away from the unlucky bug tonight. He is really hauling out there. He's got an 11-second lead over second place Joe Fierro. Now, Joe played the smart strategy. Joe has been clean all night, moved up in the field. He battled back and forth with Morgan. Morgan seemingly has had an issue and is currently in the 5th position, almost a minute back off the lead, a little more than a minute. So he's back there battling with Julian Lockwood. And we were actually just about to go to Joe on our through the field we were doing earlier tonight. So let's go back to that. Joe Fierro, been with us for about 6 months, I'd say.
6 months to a year, yeah.
So yeah, really super clean driver. After I watched him race with Morgan earlier, I think I'm going to throw a nickname out there for him. And this is going to be Gentleman Joe. He was really courteous. Gave Morgan plenty of room. They battled clean side by side for many laps. Just a really good, clean driver. Great guy to have, out there racing with you. Don't have to worry about him doing anything a little, risky or, taking any chances. Just always running it clean, always taking care of his stuff and making it to the end.
Man, you make me feel much worse when I realized I wrecked him in like 2 different races 2 weeks in a row.
You wrecked Joe?
Yes. Mid-Ohio. Yeah. That was one of them. And then the next week right after that.
Well, it wasn't intentional or anything against you.
No, it wasn't. And it wasn't an intentional incident. It's just, yes, he does run a pretty clean, pretty quick race.
Tyler, now we're moving back to P3 here in the GTE class. Tyler Greger, I can't say enough about the improvement of Tyler Greger over the last year. He's been with us for about maybe 6-8 months as well, but came in probably pretty close to the same time Joe did. And when Tyler first got into the road car, he was learning. He was trying to figure it out. He wasn't there yet, and it didn't take him long at all. And got right up to speed with the fast guys. He's really moving up there and really making some ground. Doing really well. Now, Morgan, I believe he's just gotten around Julian. So we've already talked a little bit about Morgan. He went a little wide there into turn 4, but just got by Julian, who was having some trouble earlier. But Julian Lockwood, been with us just for a few weeks, maybe about 2-3 months.
2 months, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, and really solid road driver. If you count him out too early, you'll regret it. He will stay there. Nice and consistent, really clean driver. Just what epitomizes what you find at Last Man Standing Motorsports. Just the driver that does not give up and keeps pushing. Now, some tracks you'll find Julian a little bit quicker than others. As any of us, some of the tracks we know him better than others, and we can do a little better. So, but always a great driver, great competition, really fun to race with. Doesn't back down, doesn't give up, and just holds his own. So. Really great to have him out there. Let's see if Paul Allen's still on track. We haven't talked about him too much tonight. There he is in the red and white Corvette. Paul is always in a Corvette in the GTE class. Paul loves this Corvette. He's raced it here at Daytona many times. He's raced in the Daytona 24-hour. He raced last year in the Last Man Standing 12 Hours of Daytona. He raced in the 12 Minutes of Daytona that we have, and we're doing that again this year. We'll be having the 12 Minutes of Daytona in, I think, the
24 minute.
24 minutes. That's right, the 24 Minutes of Daytona. Now, our first special race of this series on Tuesday nights, we're going to do the 4 laps of Nürburgring. That is going to be sponsored by Armatron. And actually, there are watches up for grabs on that one. The top team, it's a 2-man race, and the top team will be taking home the Armatron watches. It's kind of funny. The obviously we're not Rolex. We don't have that kind of sponsorship to be throwing out $5,000 watches to the winners. But hey, we try to hold our own. We've got the Armatron 4 laps at Nürburgring, and we're still handing out prizes. So. A lot of fun here at Last Man Standing Motorsports. Everybody gets in on it, has a lot of fun. And hopefully we can keep this action going for quite a while. Let's go back here to P6, P7 in class. And it looks like still haven't found that fast repair. Not needed, apparently, for that rear end damage on Mooney's car. As we watch the Porsche 911 with the old guy racing paint job going around, the blue and black and white. Silver. I think that's blue and black and silver. Chrome.
It's a chrome checkered flag.
Yep. I'm going through the infield. Mooney's been with the league since its inception. Last Man Standing Motorsports, formerly NSRA Road, formerly NSRA, formerly whatever it was before that. Mooney's been there since the beginning. So, him and David Visser, who is currently Judge Dredd on track tonight. Are 2 of the early runners, long runners in the series. Mooney always runs the most races of every season. He takes very few provisionals. He runs every lap he can. Never backs down, never gives up. Tough driver. Always fun to race against. Sometimes
until it's not.
Yeah. Until it's not, but we've had our differences, and we've seemed to still be racing together and still teammates. So whatever it is, it'll happen.
And I've had those same issues with several drivers. It's not that I'm disrespectful to the other drivers. I'm just not going. I'm not going to give up. I hate losing. We all hate to lose, but I mean, it's almost like ingrained in my head that losing is terrible, and so giving up a position, I will do it laps down. The leaders have made it around me a lot easier the second lap that they have to get around me.
Sometime.
Well, if I'm faster and I'm gaining a position back, yeah. And we want actually most of our drivers to think that way. Because it's not wrong.
If you're quicker, just because you're a lap down doesn't mean you have to just roll over. We want to race. And as you can see on the screen, lap down doesn't play along these 2 leaders. Brandon Dooley's still right there, less than a second ahead of Philip Scott. We have just a few laps to go in this contest. It looks like we probably have 9 laps to go?
9 laps to go, and I've got 8 laps of fuel.
Yeah, I think everybody has to do one more stop. See how that works out. Pretty sure that's what's going to happen. And hey, Judge Dredd's up here in the booth with us. Hey, David, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going.
You watching the stream out there, or are you actually watching it from the race side?
I'm watching the race side.
Yeah, we've been just went through the field, talked about all our drivers in the league. We have one incredible group of guys out there racing tonight.
Yeah, I've been watching them.
Yeah, these are great drivers, great action. Brandon and Philip, second week in a row. These guys are within a second of each other all race long. Philip took the lead briefly when Brandon, as he entered the bus stop, and Brandon got right back by him as they went around the banks, the high banks in turns 3 and 4. Just unbelievable racing out there tonight.
Nope, I haven't seen anything that's wrong at all.
Really
clean.
good. I enjoy these races that are like this. Now, not sure what happened to Chris. He's a couple laps down now, or at least one lap down. I'll have to go check it out.
I didn't see what happened.
He had an incident. He did lose some time to the leaders. He is 2 laps down. He sat in the pits for a little bit, so I'm guessing he had repairable damage, which, as you well know, in an IndyCar, repairable damage is usually not. That's like you barely touched a wall, and one of the one of the tie rods is bent. Because if you break something in IndyCar, they're like, "Oh, too much damage, you gotta go."
Pretty much.
So not sure. Maybe he had something else come up. We sit here in our simulators and watching our simulated races, and you have to put that into perspective that, oh yeah, guess what? These people have lives. The other day we were racing with Mooney, and he had to get up and answer the door.
Yeah. What do? You can't let them keep knocking at the door. They'll just keep knocking.
Or somebody calls that you really, really have to answer. Or
Several of the guys have like their managers in charge of people, and it's like they've got to take the phone call.
Yeah, I've seen that happen to Tim.
Or they've got children that
need attention.
Something happens, you got to get up and go do it.
Or you're in Kentucky working and not at home in your rig.
I still think you should have just got an Xbox controller because, I really enjoy watching your driver when you're on a controller. He has seizures every time there's a corner.
I'll have to find out if there's a way to remote control the driver. I don't have the app on my phone or on my laptop. It's not powerful enough of a laptop. I don't know. And Santa Claus is already bringing me some cool stuff this year, so I don't know if he's got any extra in his pocket, in that red sack of his for a gaming laptop to use on the road with a controller. And I'm not sure that'd be worth it because I have to lug around another 10-pound laptop just so I can play Psychedelic Man with the seizure guy going around.
But it's fun. It's fun for the guy watching it.
You'd have to highlight that one on the playback. But it only covers most exciting when it's on its own, and when I'm going as slow as I am in a car like that. Now here's something going on up front. You may have noticed Philip Scott has taken the lead as they go into turn 4 through the infield section. Now Sean has got his car repaired, back out on track, doing laps in his Ferrari again as the leaders go by. Philip has a little gap now. This looks like about 1.2 seconds as I see Brandon go a little bit wide, touch the grass going around Sean. I wonder if Brandon has worn out his gear, if his tires are worn, or if he's just laying back waiting to make his move back to the front. But this is the first time I've seen Philip out front for more than just a couple corners. So we'll see if Brandon can make up the gap. He's doing quite well down that backstretch. He must have caught some draft. He picked up 0.3 of a second just on that one backstretch section alone. I am going to flip back over to this battle and not let iRacing make changes for me. They love doing that. They love changing it up so they can see what they want to see. But we're going to watch what we want to watch tonight. We are on lap 32 of a planned 38 races. The gap is 7, 6/10, 5/10 going into turn 1. As Philip is on the primary blacks. Now, is that what made the change? Did Philip go with the primary tires, holding out to the long run? Let's see what Brandon's got on the car. Maybe Brandon also went with primary blacks on the pit stop. Let's see. It looks like he did. So both drivers have abandoned the red tires. The secondary reds. Oh, and Philip goes wide. Brandon gets right up behind him. They're nose to tail as they enter turn 7 behind 3 lapped cars, including the class leader in GTE. Let's see what this does as they split the Corvette of Paul Allen and just about wipes out Brandon Dooley. but Brandon sneaks by, and and he cuts up in front. Whoa, what a move. And Brandon takes the lead again as they go by class leader Tim Allman into the bus stop. Wow. You can't write a script with anything better than this. That was great. Here comes
Really good.
Here comes Philip as they go around Julian on the backstretch. Philip tries to get the draft and come out of the bus stop, take the lead again, but he does not get it. He's going to try tucking in again and make the move as they go through the tri-oval. Does he have the momentum? He's up on the top side. Who will dive down into the corner deeper into turn one? And it's Brandon Dooley going into turn one. A little bit deeper onto the brakes. And Philip Scott, 0.2 seconds behind. Wow, this is iRacing. These guys have been going at it since the drop of the green flag. We've got 4 laps to go. When you look at the screen, we have the track map on the left-hand side of the top corner of the screen, and you can see them coming through the infield. Now, you know they're close together when the driver you're focused on has the largest circle, and it's white on the map. And Philip is so close, you can barely see Philip's circle because it's covered by the guy in front of him. You can't even see Philip's full circle. Can't read his number there, but he is right there, as you can see, coming up in the draft. If he's got this timed right, he might be able to catch him coming out of this bus stop using that draft down the backstretch through turns 3 and 4, or turn 12 on the road course as they enter into the super speedway section. Brandon has moved into a 0.2 second gap. Philip has moved into 0.2 second gap, now 0.1, trying to pull in. Takes the outside line as they enter the tri-oval once again, but doesn't seem to have enough momentum. If he can get right there at the start-finish line, it could be a photo finish as they go across the line. If Philip can hold that line and hold that spot as they go across the line, he might be able to get him using the draft down that final corner. It is going to be something to watch. We are working lap 35 of 38, and we have 3 laps to go next time by. Tim's still way out in front on the GTE side, coming in for a last splash of fuel. Does a little splash and go, coming out of the pit lane. And his lead currently is 5 seconds. But I believe Joe also had to come in and grab some fuel. Now, maybe, I don't know, maybe, there's Joe right there. Tim exits the pit lane. They are now side by side for the lead. And Joe takes the lead entering that corner, but leaves Tim plenty of room on the exit of the corner. They drag race down into turn 5. And it looks like Tim's going to take the advantage back and regain the lead over Joe Fierro as they enter turn 6 International Horseshoe, and then swing back out in turn 7 onto the super speedway. Now, Tim is definitely the quicker driver here. He did come in for a splash and go that lap. Let's see if we can find... Now, Joe hasn't pit since lap 17. Now, Joe, it's interesting to note here, Joe made his car last 1 full lap longer than everybody else. But at lap 17, if he can only run 17 laps on him, that's only 34. Now, these guys are a few laps down to the leaders, and they are only going to run 34. So if they get the checkered flag at 34, if they get the white flag next time by, then these guys have... then Joe has completed the one-stop strategy, and he'll be the only one that has done it. Now, what that does is it gets him second place locked in, because he's quite a ways. He's 30 seconds ahead of Tyler in third. But Tim made his second stop and made it back out of the pits right in front of him and was able to get back by. As we have a damaged car down on the inside going into turn 1. That may have been Julian in the 145. Was that a damaged Julian or is that a Julian? No, maybe he's just out of the pit lane again. Yep, that was Julian coming out of the pit lane. Let's go back up front and see where we're at. It's, as you can probably imagine, it's the same as it was before. 0.3 second lead as they cross the line. That is lap 37. I'm going to say we got 2 to go here. I don't get flags. I wish I had flags on, accurate flags while I was watching the race to see where the action is. But as Brandon goes wide out of turn 4. Phillip is right there. The gap is 0.5 seconds as they go through the infield. Brandon does seem to have a little bit of an advantage through that infield section. Gains about 3 to 4 tenths. But then as they hit the super speedway, Phillip can use that draft to bring that right back together. Brett is 1 minute back, still on the lead lap. Great run for Brett Elder on the lead lap with just a little over 1 to go. Chris has dropped down a couple laps back, making his stop. Looks like he's 3.
We're at 2 minutes.
The 2 minute mark.
So probably 2 laps.
Possibly, yeah, they might get 2 out of this. We'll see. Leaders are coming around. They're probably not going to get the white flag this time by. Mooney, you're right behind him. You're going through the bus now behind Tyler.
Yeah.
So when you cross the line, let me know if you have a white flag. I do not believe you'll get it this time by.
Yeah, because that's not going to work well for me.
Yeah, you'll have to come in. But the leader of GTE has already gone in.
White flag.
White flag?
Yep.
White flag for the leaders. This is it.
White flag.
Brandon is out front. Phillip is right behind. The gap is 3 tenths as they exit turn 4. We're going to follow this action right to the flag as Brandon and Phillip are going to battle this out. Last week's gap was 4 tenths. I don't expect it to be any different tonight. We'll see who can edge it out along the super speedway. I think this is going to actually come down to a draft down that last section after the bus stop. Whoever is in the lead as they enter the bus stop, if they are within 3 tenths of a second, I would say that person is going to be eaten up by the draft. Let's see what happens as Brandon goes down into the bus stop or around turn 2 of the super speedway. Phillip 0.3 back. I think he's right where he wants to be. Let's see if Brandon can squeeze off a great run through the bus stop. He's got 4 tenths coming out onto the super speedway. They are right nose to tail, 3 tenths as they're coming around, coming into 2 tenths as they're coming around the line. They're going around a lap car of Sean Williams. Brandon's holding him off. Here comes Phillip down to the inside, trying to get the move. Phillip, they touch. Phillip, oh my goodness. Brandon takes the win. Holy cow. What a finish. What a finish. I cannot believe that. That was intense. I don't know who got that. I really don't. I don't know who got it. The scoreboard shows Brandon out in the front. Brandon does have the number 1. It looks like Brandon got it. That was as close as we've seen. We'll have to look at the post-race. We'll let everybody finish their laps. Mooney's just coming around for his checkered flag.
Yeah, he got about a foot.
About a foot?
Yeah, about a foot.
Wow, that was unbelievable. I'm going to run down into the chat and see if I can get these guys to come up to the booth and chat a little bit.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Okay.
I gotta do something real quick.
Okay. Yeah, Brandon and Phillip, I watched that. I had the camera on you guys for the last 2 or 3 laps. Phillip, you got by a couple times. Brandon managed to work his way around through lap traffic, get back by. Unbelievable finish for the ages. What was the gap? Do you guys have a time?
7 thousandths.
7 thousandths of a second. I thought for sure if Philip could get within 0.3 of a second exiting the bus stop, he's got enough. He should be able to get a run on him and get by him. 7 thousandths of a second. That's the closest finish we have ever had in Last Man Standing Motorsports. Unbelievable.
I hit push to pass 5 times on the last lap to stay out there.
I used 7 in the first half of the race because I was just trying to get by, lap traffic and stay with Brandon. And I kept the last 3 for the last lap, and I used 2 of them. I probably should have used 1 more. but
Yeah, I used it out of turn 2, out of turn 4, out of turn 6, out of turn 7, and then out of the bus stop.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew
it showed. Yeah, it showed, man. You guys had just an amazing race, all race long, nonstop, just like last week. You can't script this stuff. You guys you put on one amazing show. I mean, the fans, our 4 fans that are watching, no way could they be disappointed. We need more fans, is all I'm going to say.
I'll show my friends. I'll show my friends.
Yeah, this race was definitely wild. I was able to commentate throughout the race. It was really fun.
That's good.
To talk about it and let everybody know what's going on. Last Man Standing Motorsports is definitely one of the most competitive, most energetic, most exciting races out there to watch. One less than 1/10 of a second, 7/100ths of a second, unbelievable.
Oh, less than 100, 7 1,000ths.
Oh, it was a 7/1000ths of a second. Oh,
yep.
Unbelievable race, guys. Great job. Congrats to Brandon. 0x, Brandon?
No, I had 1. Got 1 second to last lap, I think it was.
Shockingly, I had a 0x.
Whoa, that'll play with the points. That'll put you guys right next to each other.
Yep.
Because Brandon, I think you got 1 last week. So
I said before we went up in the booth, I have a sneaking suspicion that the entire season's just going to be me and Brandon just slugging it out every race.
It's funny. I want to talk to Chris a little later. I want to see if I can catch up with him. So if you guys do jump down there, let him know I want to see him after we get through a few interviews. But Chris was extremely fast.
Oh yeah. Oh, he had the pace.
What happened about halfway through? He got something happened.
Yeah, he spun out. I think lap 1 or lap 2 from the lead out of the bus stop, and then he caught back up to us after the first round of pit stops. Was within. I think we were nose to tail almost. And I think he hit a curb or something in the bus stop again, but this time went to the outside wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw him in the pits getting a little bit of repair. So
yeah, he caught up to us on the out lap from the pits. We caught some lap traffic on the first stop. We caught some lap traffic, and first stop or second stop? I think first stop. We caught some lap traffic, and that allowed him to capitalize and close in, and then all 3 of us were in a bunch together, and then I looked at I had to drive hard to hold off Chris because I knew that he'd get by eventually. And
he was quick. And
the only
GTE battle, was that a battle? Was that even a battle? I saw Tim dominate the whole race.
Oh, I spun it out on turn 1.
Oh, did you? You made it exciting?
That's where I got my 2x. Yeah, I went around.
Oh, okay. All right.
But after that, I ran pretty flawless.
Yeah, Tim, great race. Good job tonight.
Thanks.
Pretty much the match of the whole field. It was really fun to watch.
Well, the Stoli vodka Porsche 911 RSR ran great all night.
There you go, John Force. There you go.
Out there for my sponsor.
Also, shout out to all the GTE cars. Everyone was really good and respectful. And we were.
Everybody was staying down on their racing line. It made it very easy getting around.
Yeah, and obviously it's as the faster class, you gotta plan your moves.
You gotta maneuver. There was an incident where the 2 of you guys split Paul Allen.
Yeah.
It was about 4 laps to go, and I thought I saw Brandon. I thought I saw your rear tire tag the front of his car.
very slight.
Oh, I
was
didn't.
really
I didn't
close if
feel
you got
anything
it
if
all.
it did.
Might have been
Yeah.
net code.
I'm pretty
It
sure
was
Paul Allen-
really it was really close. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I knew it was close, and he was kind of going back and forth. Phil went to the outside, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if I get it here, this is where I've got to go, or I'm not going to get back around.
Yeah, I was. I was seriously considering. I felt like I was a little bit faster all night out of turn 1 and through that little snaking section. So I was thinking about using push to
horseshoe. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about using push to pass there, but I knew that if I held him off until the backstretch, then he'd get back by, and it would just be null and void pretty much. So I just had to save it for. I just used push to pass on the 2 long straightaways and just hoped I could get close to him. And also caught a lap car in 3, so that gave him a bit of a extra draft.
A little bit of a toe coming around. Yep.
Just enough to hold me off by 7 thousandths.
Yeah, that was definitely fun to watch.
Oh yeah, it's always
Tyler. You ran a really clean race tonight too. You did a really good job out there.
Yeah, I spun. So I didn't spin, but I went off the turn 1 once.
Yeah,
and I was like 6 or 4 seconds back from Joe, and that kind of hurt me.
Yeah, well, you were just 1 lap behind between Tim and the leaders, so fairly close there at the end. You guys' average lap times were within about a second apart. So, and I can tell you what, if you can average lap time close to Tim at Daytona, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep, you're doing pretty good. I saw Joe with a massive pit strategy. I don't know if you guys noticed.
He was a full lap ahead of me.
1 stop Joe.
Yeah.
Managed to do that with 1 pit stop.
No,
he had to come in. He had to come in like
he had a splash.
Second to the last lap.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I was watching him and he hadn't pit yet near the end.
I was watching that pretty close because I dove into the pits just under halfway. And then I saw he had enough fuel for another lap or 2.
He went 1 more lap, yeah. And
I
thought you guys did 34, and he did 17 on the first stop. I thought he could.
Yeah, so I went ahead and mapped it down and tried to save some fuel, thinking, all right, well, maybe I need to back off here a little bit. I got a hell of a lead. I'll just save some fuel. And then I did some calculations on the backstretch in my head and figured there's no way I'm going to do it. Just punch it and try and get as big a lead as possible. And hopefully he has to get a splash at the end. I don't know if you saw that, but he came out of the pits. I came out of the pits and he was right there. We were neck and neck.
Yeah. We actually caught that. We caught that on the stream. You guys were right there together.
I thought, well, if he's got enough for the rest of the race, then this is going to be interesting. But it wasn't to be.
Yeah. Good racing all around. Every class had just tons of action in it.
Oh man, I forgot to put in the thing for what's it called? For last race because I was in the field.
Oh, your provisional?
Yeah.
I think we could probably make that work for you.
Yeah, he gets a provisional.
You were in the field, you'd automatically get it.
Yeah,
you know that, Tyler. You automatically get it.
I didn't know what the standards were for provisionals. So
normally, like if you're not in the field and you need a provisional, that counts as 1 away. But if you guys are in the field doing something military, I automatically give you guys. You guys are out there, fighting for us, so you guys automatically get it.
How many do we get if we? Is it 3?
3, I think.
3.
4 this season.
Is it 4 this season?
Okay,
yeah.
4. Okay.
Yep, I'm the admin. Don't even know.
Okay.
It's in the description up there somewhere.
Yeah, I
have to find it.
Because remember, I'm Colonel Blank and you're Colonel Blake, and I'm your radar. I just go, okay, whatever.
But
he gets
that way sometimes.
He gets a lot of stuff by me on that one. I'm like, I didn't. Oh yeah, I did say that. All right.
So who's Gomer Pyle then?
Mooney.
Well,
Yeah.
golly.
Yep. I can
Actually,
see that.
that should be Aaron. He's a sergeant. We got to have, I'll come up with something for old Sarge. I'll work on something. Name him.
Oh, that was a close finish, man. Awesome race, guys.
Yeah,
That was.
that's an
I had to
amazing
use
finish.
the restroom and I almost had an accident. Didn't care. I wanted to see that finish. That was an awesome finish.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah, I
hopefully next week I'll be racing. My foot, I couldn't do it.
Oh, it'd be great to see you out there, dude.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You
they
get
up
back out there.
it's my diabetic nerve pain, and they just upped the medication. It hasn't taken full effect of the more of it. So a couple more days, I should be good.
Well, David, I think we had one for the ages tonight. This one's one.
Good. Well, and that's
remember.
why we need to start, picking through these races and do like a highlight reel at the end of the week.
yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be
From
really cool
Rex,
if we could come up with something
from
like that.
from the Rex to
the not
finish.
top 10 and the top 10 highlights.
I have a couple from the last season of GTE and GT3 for the top 10. For the one that sticks out to me from last season, there's two that stick out. Battle with Brandon at Sonoma, and then also battle with Tim at
Silverstone.
And then
Silverstone race. Yeah, that was an awesome race.
And last season's Cup, I mean Bristol, that was awesome between Aaron and Michael.
Yeah.
And then
that was another close one.
And then I know for the not top 10, when I was trying to hunt down Ray on the last lap, when I barrel rolled it on the mountain at
Bathurst.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
We've had some fun ones. When I first started racing, iRacing, I've been racing simulators and games for a long time. And when I jumped into, I've probably got 15 years racing in a simulator or a game with a wheel. I mean, I've used a wheel that long.
We've only got about 8 months.
But when I was playing and racing all that stuff, I just did it all by myself. And when I started iRacing, I started looking around, and they said the way to do iRacing, the way to make iRacing fun, is to get in a league.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. This group, these races, this league is so much fun.
Yeah.
We get out there and we race hard, we play hard, we respect each other, and like the races like tonight, you can tell this is the group that you want to be with, and it's great. It's great fun. And just sitting here remote recording the whole thing and announcing the whole thing was just so much fun tonight. You guys did great.
Well, and you guys need to thank me. Hold on, I got to make sure she's not around. My wife wanted to race for me. You guys need to thank me that I talked her out of it. I would have had to have Ron put in like 5 fast repairs. I'm trying, but I'm like, honey, GTE is kind of more big boy thing. You need to work into this.
She'll get there. We got some races for her to run.
And she's done, fairly good. She's had some problems, but
is she in the GT3 rookie races?
She's in them.
Yeah,
she's in them.
We're working on the schedule, so like the rookie race may change dates. All depends on what her schedule is gonna end up.
Okay. Yeah, we're waiting for her work schedule to get finalized.
And like that early Nürburgring one on Saturday, that was mainly done so that her and Hannah could race, because they originally raced in Ladies of iRacing, but that turned into, it was supposed to be a fun once a month thing for women that like our girlfriends or wives.
Yeah.
But it turned into this, you're not allowed to talk in Discord. Well, then what's the sense of being in Discord?
Right. Not allowed to talk in Discord.
You can't do what we're doing here. You can do it after the race, but you can't, you're not even supposed to say, hey, I'll go low, or you're not supposed to do any of that. It's like, well, then how is this fun for these women?
Yeah, like.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna bring our stream down, bring it to a close here. Congrats to you guys tonight, Brandon, Philip, great win.
Awesome
Great,
race.
great
Yeah,
battle.
thanks.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats, Phil. That was amazing race.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I
Great,
just want to say
great
thank
battle.
you to you guys because you guys have made this league. You really have.
Appreciate
Yes, we
it.
have the league, but it's everybody that races that really brings it together.
Thanks again, everybody. This is Ron up in the booth with Big Wizard TV. On behalf of Last Man Standing Motorsports, grandpaskitchen.com, and our sponsor, Stair Fittings Incorporated, we say goodnight. We'll see you on the next one.